Good morning, grade 12s. Today we're starting a new chapter on text functions in Excel up until now. And that is grade 10, 11, and 12. We have looked at functions in Excel that can manipulate numbers, or also called numerical values. However, we have functions in Excel that can also manipulate text. Text in Excel or in computer language is called string. So those of you who have also IT, you know the concept of strings, which is text. In Excel, for you guys that only have CAT, you just have to, when I talk about string, I actually refer to text. So these functions that we are going to look at today, and there are 9 of them, are specifically designed to work not with numbers, but with text. Now, what constitutes text? Text, obviously, letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But it could also be special characters, an @ sign or a hyphen. But it can also be numbers. In the case, for example, a cell phone number. A cell phone number is not designed to do calculations with. So we treat the cell phone number as text. An ID number is treated as text. There might be certain code serial numbers that is considered text. So we must not confuse text and numbers, although the text might perhaps consist out of numbers. So the rule of thumb is a number is something that we can do a calculation on. An age, we can increase an age by 1 or decrease it by 1. We can calculate an average age. But if I say a house number, and you wouldn't ask the question, what's the average house number in this street? Or, a cell phone number. You wouldn't, have a cell phone number of a friend. You won't add them together and divide them by 2 to get, to see whether they're compatible or not. So there's a clear distinction between text and numbers. The one we do calculations with, and the other one we are not. However, the following text functions we can apply to text. So we have concatenate. That's a big word. It means combining of text. We have the len function, which is short for length. We have the upper function, which converts text into uppercase. We have the lower. Guess what that does? You guessed right. It converts text into lowercase. We have a left function, which takes text or reference text in a specific cell. And then we have another argument within that function that specifies how many characters are we. It's almost like a copy. How much text are we copying from the left of the word, and the right how much do we copy from the right of the word? And you will understand just now when we look at examples. The mid function will copy text out of the middle of a specified text. The find function will actually find a value or a specific, we call it the substring, part of the text in a larger text. And then we have the value function, which converts a text into a number. And I'm going to click on these to show you how they are built. So obviously we have an equal sign. then we have the function name, and then remember string means text, so we have a text in a specific cell, and then we have our semicolon to separate our arguments or parameters or parts of the function, and then we have our second text, and we can add as many as we want. You will see in that example that we're going to do just now, the string or the text that this refers to does not only cannot just or it does not necessarily have to be a cell reference, but it can also be a text that we add ourselves, or it could be a space. And those texts that we add ourselves or spaces are put into quotation marks, but I will show you just now. Then we have the len function, which is the length. So we simply have the function name and the text that we want to return the length of. So if I would say length of this word, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the result would be 11. It will be a number. How long is the text that we are referring to? Then we have upper, which is the upper function with the text that we want to convert. Lower, very similar. Now the left one. Again, the function name. We have the text that we want to take text out of, copy text out of, and then how many characters from the left are we going to copy out? And we're going to look at that example just now. Right is very similar, but it will be from the right. So if I say, for example, right of this word, 3 characters, I'm going to go to the right of the word, and I'm going to count 3 from this. 1, 2, 3. So right concatenate 3 will be 8. Left concatenate 3 would be con. And then the middle has a text. Then it has a starting point. So if I say, for example, mid concatenate 2, 3, I'm going to go to the second characters because that's character 2, and I'm going to count 3. 1, 2, 3. So the result would be onc. Then we have the find function, which finds a substring. So if I'm going to say I want to find the A, or let's say I'm going to want to find the O, and that O needs to go into quotation marks, and then in my word concatenate. The result of that would be 2 because O is in the second position. If I, however, gonna try to find C in this word, there are more than one C's in this word, it will return the first occurrence of the substring. So in this case, it would be 1. If I would try to find A, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be position 5 and not 9. Okay, and then value, we simply have a text which then will be converted into a number. If that cannot be, because there are letters in this text, then there will be an error message. All right, so let's have a look at our example. So here you can actually, in your textbook, look, I've just summarized it in the PowerPoint for you, but you can make reference to the textbook. And I thought, instead of having you do activity 1 on your own, I'm going to take you through this, and I've prepared a spreadsheet for you that will take us through this activity. And then once we are done, I would like you today to do activity 2. Once you see this sign in your textbook, it actually means that there's a video that you can watch, which is a link to YouTube. And there's another one, which kind of is an explanation of the example or activity that they are giving you. You can see there's a couple of them. So activity 2, I would like you to do, and make sure that you understand each and every one of these text functions. And that actually concludes the chapter. Then there is a written module activity as well as a practical module activity. And the practical module activity is, if you are done with the activities and the period is not, or the double period is not over, you can continue with the practical module activity or the written module activity, but we will continue with this tomorrow. So let's scroll up all the way to our activity 1. I'm going to take this over to my site. All right. And I have to, it always goes out of the text. All right, or the page number, it changes the page number. And I have no clue where I am, but we'll get there just now. Again, I am back at activity 1. There we go. But I've prepared this for you already. So, text function is our word that I placed in cell A1. And we are going to apply these functions to this text. So you can see left A1. So all of them are referenced to A1. And then in our second activity, we have 2 words in 2 separate columns, South Africa. And you can see that all these functions, most of them, reference to either C1 or D1 or both of them. There's just 3 examples actually that are slightly different, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So, text function, left A1, 3. So let's logically think about it. The result of this would be, so left means I'm going to, of A1. So I've got my word here and I'm going to go to the left of the word and I'm going to count 3 characters. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to even zoom in there a little bit. Okay, so if I enter an equal sign over there now to make it a function, the result would be text. And we are correct. Now we're doing the same, but this time the right function. Again, A1, but this time we're going to the right of the word and we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be Substring. Let's see if we are right. Substring. All right. Met A1. So we again have the word text function. This time we're starting in position 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's X. No, the fourth one is T, sorry. T, and then we have 3 characters. T space F. Let's see if that would be correct. And there we go. T space F. Len A1. Let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 plus 8 is 12 plus the space. A space is also a character, so we have 13. So let's see if we are correct. Equal sign, and we have 13. Upper A1 will convert all of this to uppercase, and lower will obviously convert all of that to lowercase. So, text function, and all of this lower. All right, so that is the first part of the activity. The second part now is our two words, and we're going to look at some of the other functions that we looked at. So concatenate, as I've told you, means the combining of text. So in this case, I want to combine C1 and D1 into one cell. So if I do this, it will be South Africa, one word in cell E1, South Africa. No space, because we simply, I'm going to show you like this. Ooh, control that, there we go. Shows you, so if you press control and it's like a little apostrophe on top, it's under the escape button, it actually shows you the function. Okay, so concatenate C1, D1, there's no space, so that's why there's also no space when we display the result. So the second function here, if I add the equal sign there, this time it adds a space. So the result will be South Africa, but this time with a space. And you can see, I'm going to return this to this way, that the space or text in the third example here goes into quotation marks. So this one is South Africa. And then just, I'm adding this here because concatenate is a function that can add text together, but we can also concatenate things by using what we call an ampersand, or in layman's word, an and symbol. So C1 and a space and America would make C1 would be South, we're adding a space and we're adding America. So the result of this, if I add a equal sign there, should be South space America. And there we go. Upper C1, very similar to what we've had already, will be South in capital. Lower C1 will be South in smaller letters. Left D1 3. D1 is Africa. Left, we're going to the left of the word, which is starting in the beginning, and we're counting 3. 1, 2, 3. So the result would be Afri. Just like that, or Afr, because it's only 3. Mid D1 2, 4. So we have the second letter, which is F, and we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be Freak. There we go. Right D1, 2, we'll now go to the right of the word and we count 1, 2, so that will be CA. That reminds me of Cape Town. And then, I'm too quick, enter CA, and then find F in D1. So let's see, if we look at this word, we find F in the second position. So our function result would be 2. There we go. Find Rika in D1. So you can see that it does not just have to be one letter that we're trying to find, but we can actually find entire words or parts of words in our text. So in this case, we want to find Rika. Rika starts in the 1, 2, 3rd position. So the result of this function would be 3. If we want to find the space in E2, now where is E2? E2 is this one. Now E2, actually, if I click on E2, has a function in there called concatenate C1 space D1. So I can find a space in a cell that contains a function. So it will look at the result of the function, not the function itself. So the result of that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, should be 6. Let's see if I'm right. And there we go. Find can in D1. So again, South Africa. Now, can does not exist in this text on this cell. So what do you think happens if I run this now? I would say the result is 0 or an error because we cannot find the value. If I would change this to South African, you can see that now can would be in the 5th position. But let's remove this again. So if you don't find it, there's an error message. Okay, then value D1. What do you think would happen if I say I want to convert D1, which is Africa, to a number? There should be an error message because you cannot convert text to a number. So value cannot be found. Type in your formula. Do you want to accept this correction? Yes. So there's a value error again. Okay, and then we're going to do value D14, which is now this part. So let's do that. What do I do wrong? Value D14. Oh, you know what? This is me, and the IT guys will appreciate this one because whenever I do functions, also in IT, we have semicolons at the end. So I'm going to remove them. So this one, value, I'm going to take this back. So value D14 will now turn the 27 into, which is text, into a number. I actually did not make this text. So let's do it like this. So this is text, but it is converted into a number. And now concatenate C15 and D15. So these two, the result of that should be 34. But what do I, my semicolon, it will remove that. And there we have 34, which is text. All right, guys, I'm going to bring the textbook over again. 271, this time, nope, 177, there we go. There we are now. So, activity 2, ABC, 2, 3, ABC, 4, all of that, I'm confident that you guys can actually do this. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helped.